Espio's sharp golden eyes narrow slightly as he studies you. Your smile, the lightness in your step. It's an expression he rarely sees on anyone after a high-stakes takedown. He murmurs, voice low enough that only you can hear it over the chatter of officers and Sly's theatrics. This is where most would be brooding over old bonds. His tail flicks once, a silent question hanging between you two. He tilts his head just so, watching for your reaction. His brow furrows in faint confusion, your cryptic words piquing his interest. Heard what? He asks, golden eyes narrowing slightly as he tries to gauge your mood. Espio's stoic expression softens slightly at your words, a hint of shock flickering in his golden eyes. I'm sorry, he murmurs. It's an earnest, heartfelt sentiment, though it's hard to tell beneath his stoic demeanor. Espio sighs, leaning back against the wall with his arms crossed. He's silent for a moment, studying you with cool golden eyes as he considers his words. Even the most dangerous criminals have their own stories, he says finally. His voice is measured, calm and carefully neutral. Doesn't make their actions right, but it can be a reminder that there's more to life than crime and punishment. He tilts his head a bit, observing you closely. You're not like the rest. Espio nods slightly, a flicker of reluctant agreement passing over his expression. He's not a bleeding heart, but he's not heartless either. Your compassion is unique. He glances down at the floor, not quite a concession, but close. It's not the path most law enforcement would take. Espio chuckles quietly at that, a faint smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. Indeed, his eyes gleam with faint amusement as he pushes off the wall, arms still folded. A compassionate lawman. He shakes his head faintly. Who'd have thought someone like you would end up on the right end of the law? Espio's smirk fades just slightly. His golden eyes lock onto yours, sharp and assessing. Missing the life isn't weakness, he says after a beat, voice low. It's just proof you were good at it. He studies your face for another moment before adding, but that doesn't mean you belong there anymore. Espio nods, shifting his weight and crossing his arms again. You're young. You have plenty of time to figure that out. He pauses, his golden eyes thoughtful. You've got guts to leave the life you were in before and try something different. That takes more bravery than most crooks have. Espio perks up slightly at the interruption, golden eyes flicking toward Vector as he enters. The crocodile's loud chuckle fills the room, clearly in a good mood. Whoa there, rookie. Vector grins, slapping you on the back with enough force to make you stumble. Papers? Nah, I gotcha something way more fun than that. Espio raises an eyebrow but says nothing, waiting for Vector to continue while studying your reaction carefully. Espio can't contain a quiet chuckle as he watches Vector's antics, golden eyes gleaming faintly with amusement. Despite his stern expression, it's clear he's enjoying this show. Vector, he says quietly, stop tormenting the rookie. Espio's golden eyes widen a fraction as he realizes Vector's not kidding. He shoots you an apologetic look before turning back to Vector. You've got to be joking. Espio crosses his arms, raising an eyebrow at the crocodile. Paperwork's bad enough, but making him shine your shoes? He sounds exasperated but not surprised. That's low, even for you.
No, it's fine.
Espio sighs in resignation, shaking his head faintly at the sight of the stack of papers. He knows arguing with Vector will do no good. He's a stubborn lizard, almost as much as Espio himself. Fine, fine. But stop tormenting the poor rookie. He's not your personal assistant, Vector. Once Vector is finally out of the room, Espio heaves another faint sigh, turning to you. You're going to have your work cut out for you with that task. He shakes his head, golden eyes gleaming faintly. Though I can't say I'm surprised. Vector's not a fan of paperwork. He glances up at you. How are you at polishing shoes? Espio smirks faintly at that, amused by your admission. Well, you're in for a refresher course then. He crosses his arms casually. It's not hard, just tedious. Vector's going to have you scrubbing at every little speck of dirt in his shoes for hours. Espio nods, his smirk widening just a bit. Vector's a bit meticulous. He glances at the pile of papers you'll soon have to sort through, his golden eyes amused. You might want to grab a comfortable seat and a lot of coffee. Espio watches as you prepare yourself for the long, tedious task ahead, golden eyes gleaming with a mix of sympathy and amusement. He knows all too well the pain of paperwork. Chin up, rookie, he says, voice low. It'll be over soon enough. If you're lucky, Vector won't have you working through lunch. Espio gives you a final reassuring nod before turning to leave, but not without one last dry remark. Don't let him bully you too hard. And if he starts complaining about the shine, tell him I said to lighten up. With that, he melts into the shadows, leaving you with your paperwork and a smirk still lingering on his face. The back room is somewhat bare bones. Just a few desks, filing cabinets, and the coffee machine Vector brought in a while back. It's just enough to suffice. As you enter, you hear a familiar booming voice calling out to you. Hey, rookie, over here. Vector is sitting leisurely in his chair, his huge frame leaning back with his feet propped up on his desk. His grin is wise mud and swell. Vector chuckles, not bothering to take his feet off his desk as he eyes the stack of papers. He looks way too pleased with himself. You guessed right, rookie. You're gonna be sorting those papers for the rest of the day. He laughs loud and full, obviously enjoying himself. Make sure you don't spill coffee on him, got it? I don't want to see any stains. You don't get to eat until you finish. Vector nods cheerfully, his tail thumping against the chair. You got it. All of 'em. He leans back a bit more, folding his arms behind his head with a chuckle. Hope you got comfy shoes, rookie. You're gonna be on your knees for a while. Vector lets out a loud, booming laugh at that, shaking his head in amusement. Nah, you gotta earn the shoe polishing gig first. He grins down at you from his chair. Bills come first. Then, if you do a good job, I'll let you shine 'em up. Espio's voice drifts in from somewhere unseen, dry as ever. Don't push your luck. Vector rolls his eyes at Espio's comment, but there's no real annoyance in it. He's used to Espio's dry remarks by now. He turns his attention back to you, all cheery smiles once again. Don't mind Espio. He's just got a thing for paperwork, boring old stick in the mud. He grins widely, clearly enjoying his playful banter. Now, on to the bills. Better get comfy. You got a lot to sort through. As you focus on sorting the bills, Vector can't help but notice you glancing at the bottom of his shoes. He raises an eyebrow, a sly grin spreading across his face. What you looking at down there, rookie? Vector's grin widens, clearly enjoying your sudden scrutiny of his footwear. He wiggles his toes in the air for dramatic effect. Ooh! You thinking like a detective now, huh? Smart move, he barks out a laugh, but nah, no bills hiding under my soles. Unless you want to check for sure, Espio sighs from somewhere unseen, muttering something about wasted time and childish games. Vector lets out a loud, theatrical sigh, clearly disappointed that you're not taking the bait. Achman? Where's your sense of adventure? He wiggles his toes again before finally dropping his feet off the desk with a thud. Fine, fine. But if you change your mind, he flashes another toothy grin as he leans back in his chair. I ain't gonna say no. Espio's voice cuts in from somewhere unseen, dry as ever. Get back to work, rookie. It takes hours, but somehow, eventually, you manage to sort through all the bills. Vector sits through it all, occasionally offering up sarcastic commentary from his chair, much to Espio's annoyance. When you finally finish, Vector lets out a low whistle, peering over the pile you finished sorting. Damn, rookie, you're pretty fast, huh? I'm impressed. He grins wider, seemingly satisfied for once. Espio glances up at you as well, giving a brief nod of approval from his corner desk. You did fine. Vector bursts into loud, booming laughter at that, clearly entertained by your sudden urgency. Ha! Oh man, you learn quick. He wipes a tear from his eye before gesturing dramatically toward the door. Get out of here then! Wouldn't want to be stuck with Charmy's paperwork too. Espio rolls his eyes but nods in agreement. He leans back slightly, golden gaze flickering to the exit as if expecting Charmy to come buzzing in any second now. By the time you get up from your desk to head out for lunch, you're met with the sight of Charmy buzzing loudly into the room, holding up a massive stack of papers in his arms. Vector just sighs, shaking his head in annoyance at the sight of all the paperwork. You gotta be kidding me. He sighs, glancing at Espio. Espio groans, pinching the bridge of his nose in frustration. For the love of not more paperwork. Charmy grins widely at Vector's irritation. Hey Vector, I got tons more for ya. He wags a finger at the crocodile, clearly quite pleased with himself. Vector just sighs, shaking his head in annoyance. Oh great, just what I needed. He shoots Espio a pleading look, as if silently begging for some kind of reprieve from this mountain of paperwork. As Vector and Espio are still trying to figure out what to do with the new stack of paperwork, the phone suddenly rings shrilly. Vector's eyes widen when he hears the sound. Then a grin spreads across his face, saved by the bell. He shoots a smirk at Espio before snatching up the phone. Vector's detective agency. How can we help you? He listens to the reply, his grin growing wider with each passing second, his mood doing a complete 180. As Vector continues listening to whoever is on the other end, Espio looks up from the paperwork with a puzzled expression, almost as if he's wondering what could be so important to pull Vector away from the never-ending task of sorting through endless documents, spreadsheets, and forms. Eventually, Vector hangs up and sets the phone back in his place, still grinning widely. He turns to Espio with a look of excitement. Well, that was a client. Yes. Guess what? Espio raises an eyebrow, his interest definitely piqued. He can tell from Vector's expression that this is no ordinary job, and knowing Vector, that typically means something good. All right, don't keep me in suspense. What is it? He leans back in his chair, folding his arms with a small smirk. Vector's grin is almost maniacal now, clearly thrilled about whatever job their client has thrown their way. Heh, oh man, you won't believe what this guy is offering us. It's going to be the best job yet. And with the best payment. He practically bounces in his seat, clearly over the moon. Espio can't help but roll his eyes a bit at Vector's theatrics, but he's curious now. All right, don't keep me guessing. What's the job? Who jai? And how much is the pay? His grin widens to an almost comical degree, his tail thumping against the desk in excitement. 1,000,000 guilds! Can you believe that? He slams a fist on the table for emphasis. This guy's got deep pockets, deep enough to hire us for one hell of a heist. Espio's golden eyes sharpen instantly at the mention of money. He leans forward slightly, voice dropping low, dangerously interested now. And what exactly is this heist? Vector practically vibrates with excitement, leaning in close, his grin now downright feral. It's juicy. Some big-shot collector's got a stolen relic. The crown of the Shadow Monarch. Rare, super valuable. He wiggles his fingers dramatically. And this guy wants us to swipe it back from under their nose before they can sell it on the black market. Espio goes eerily still at that, golden eyes narrowing as he processes the details. A Shadow Monarch crown? That changes things. That's not just any job, he murmurs quietly. Who is funding this? Vector's still grinning like it's his birthday, clearly thrilled that this has grabbed Espio's interest as well. He leans back in his seat again, clearly enjoying this moment of suspense. That's the best part. It's some big-shot billionaire named Maximilian Salsby. He wants that crown for his private little collection. And he's paying us to get it for him. 1,000,000 guilds all up front. He pauses for dramatic effect, his eyes narrowing. Sound good yet? Despite his best efforts to stay calm and composed, Espio is visibly tense. He grips his armrest, golden eyes glinting with thinly veiled excitement, and a fair bit of wariness. And what's the catch? He's not a fool. A job like this? It has to have a catch. There's always a catch. But if everything checks out... Vector grins at the clear interest in Espio's eyes. He can tell that he's hooked. That's where things get real interesting. See, we've got competition. He pauses for dramatic effect, clearly enjoying this moment. Some other collector calls himself Maximus Maximus. He's got eyes on the prize too. He's putting together a crew, same as us. Espio's knuckles turn white as his grip on the armrest tightens. And how many people is he hiring? Vector smirks, clearly knowing what reaction this next bit would get. He counts the crew off on his fingers as he speaks, still grinning like a maniac the whole time. He's got 3 people, a guy called the Iron Fist, a lady called the Blackjack, and some chick called the Silent Shadow. And he's offering them just as much as our client, if not more. He leans back. So, you interested yet? The news seems to trigger something in Espio. A familiar competitive gleam lights up in his golden eyes. He leans forward, voice low and serious. I'm in. We can beat them to the crown. I guarantee it. His expression darkens, becoming focused and determined. He's thinking like a soldier again, like a ninja. I've got 2 conditions. Vector raises an eyebrow, but he doesn't miss the shift in Espio's demeanor, or the dangerous gleam in those golden eyes. He's never seen Espio quite like this before. He likes it. Shoot. Let's hear your terms. Espio's gaze sharpens, his voice dropping to a low, measured tone. 1, we do this our way. No reckless stunts, no showboating. His eyes flick toward Vector pointedly before continuing. 2, the crown goes back to the rightful owner after we retrieve it. Not Maximus Maximus, and not Salsby either. A beat of silence as he holds Vector's gaze unflinchingly. Unless you're too busy counting guilds? Vector grins wider at Espio's terms. He can tell that the ninja is really taking this seriously now. He nods, equally serious. No messing around, no stupid moves. And we return it to who it belongs after the job. A flicker of genuine respect passes through Vector's eyes as he leans back. Still grinning, Espio's gone completely cold-blooded, and he's enjoying every second of it. Glad we're on the same page. Espio exhales sharply, almost a scoff, but there's an edge of approval beneath it. He leans back slightly, arms still crossed. Good. Then we move now. No time to waste. His golden eyes cut toward the door as if expecting Maximus Maximus's crew to materialize any second. Vector chuckles and claps his hands together with a loud smack that makes Charzin surprised from across the room. All right. Operation Shadow Crown is on. Nazo steps through the door, a half-eaten sandwich in hand, just in time to see Espio and Vector standing at the exit, already geared up for departure. The air is crackling with tension. Vector spins around dramatically when he hears Nazo enter, throwing an arm toward them like some grand stage magician. Rookie! Perfect timing. He grins wildly. We got ourselves a real juicy job. Want to come? Espio doesn't say anything at first. His golden eyes flick over to you briefly as if assessing your readiness. Then back toward the mission ahead.
Yep. Yep.